Why is the perfect cover letter so hard to write? I'm excited today to unpack cover letters. At Management Consulted, we help people review cover letters for super impressive and really competitive jobs, such as at McKinsey or Google or Amazon. And when we do that, we're able to tease out powerful, clear stories that demonstrate that someone is ready and able to do the next big job in their career. But in order to do it, we've read some of the worst cover letters on earth, and we've discovered some key secrets to writing a great cover letter that I'm excited to share with you today. First of all, let me just lay down a few cover letter best practices so that you know where I'm coming from. These are rules that you may or may not know, but I just want to get everybody onto the same page. First of all, our goal is that you have one resume and one cover letter, and that you tailor each no more than 10% to each individual firm. So what the goal is not to write a completely new cover letter for every single environment. The second thing that's important to know is that one paragraph that we're going to touch is going to be the networking paragraph, otherwise known as the why the firm paragraph. This is where you say why Google or why Amazon or why McKinsey. So in that paragraph is where we're going to really tailor this letter. Everything else will be consistent across all firms. The third thing that's really important is that we want to make sure that this cover letter does an important job, which is not just get you an interview, but also tell enough of your story that you're known to your interviewers, which helps you ultimately get the job. Now, I've mentioned the word story already a few times, and that's really the key to a great cover letter. It's to tell a compelling story. But we don't think about the story. We think about the story broken down into three aspects of the cover letter when we're building it. And we think about it in terms of the structure of the cover letter. We think about it in terms of the format of the cover letter. And finally, we think about it when we go into the wording of each of the individual stories. Now, I'll start with the structure. There are two cover letter structures that you can pick. The first one is a chronological structure. And the chronological structure goes like this. You start with education, then leadership, then work experience, and then why the firm. It's 4 to 6 total paragraphs, and the chronological story begins at the beginning and ends at the end. For those of you that have had a fairly traditional pathway where you've built on and developed stronger experience over time, this can be a really compelling read. However, the more popular style, and the one that we're trending more people toward over time, is a bullet-pointed cover letter. Bullet points give you the flexibility to move around the stories in light of who you're applying to. It also gives you the opportunity to take the story out of time sequence and focus just on the 3 top priorities. So for the bullets, it will be an introduction, a why the firm paragraph, bullets, usually 3, and then a conclusion paragraph. The bullets will be 4 to 5 written lines maximum for each one of the bullets. Now, the header for all of these is the same for both kinds of resumes. And the header starts with your name, address, phone number, and email. And you can use the same header that you have in your resume when that goes across the page, or you can do a standard cover letter entry, which starts with the stuff up at the top right corner, and it goes down with 1 line for each. Then you'll need the date. But then there are only 2 remaining lines that are needed before you dive into the cover letter. And you don't need to put the firm name and a person's name and an entire address. All that you need to put is the name of the firm and then the position and office that you're specifically interested in applying to. That directs the information that someone needs all the way to where it has to go. Now you leave the bulk of the content in the cover letter, and we usually recommend that you address the cover letter with "to whom it may concern." Whereas historically, you would have always wanted to put a specific person's name. We're finding that more and more firms are doing panel reviews or AI reviews of a cover letter, and it feels like you're reading someone else's mail if you put the name on it and then a different person wants to read your cover letter. Now, onto formatting. Cover letter formatting is really crucial. Font type has to match your resume. So one of the big mistakes that people make is that they have this cover letter that's beautiful, but completely separate from the resume. The two go together in a package, so you need to match the font type. Second, your font type might be too large. Many people use 12-point font for the cover letter, and it starts to look like a high schooler wrote it. What we're looking for is a 10-point font, leaving room for some white space in the cover letter. The margins should be 0.8 inches in the cover letter. This is a little bit smaller than 1 inch, but it doesn't leave too little space and it doesn't cram the space. The length should be a mostly full 1 page. So it's okay for the cover letter to take up all or most of a single page. It should take up at least 2/3 of the page. The spacing should be single spaced, and like the resume, the color should be black and white. And so now if we've got a great structure chosen and we have the great formatting fixed, how do we actually build the core content of the cover letter? Well, we do this with our clients that are using our cover letter service by asking for 3 stories. We find often that clients go through the process of telling their story with generalities, and we go back and help make them specific. So we ask for 3 stories. Often it will be one from an academic experience, one from a leadership experience, and one from a work experience. But sometimes you're a little removed from school. Great. 2 work experiences and a leadership experience. Sometimes you have really incredible work experience and that's what you want to focus on. 3 different work experiences. The key is to have 3 different stories from 3 different experiences, all told well. Now, let me talk about how you tell the story. First of all, the why the firm portion of the story is a personalized paragraph based on someone that you've spoken with inside the firm. This is not where you put that you've listened to their podcast or read their website. This is where you say, I've met somebody from your company. They're incredible for the following reasons, and this is really why I want to work with you. Then your 3 story deep dives are either embedded into paragraphs or bulleted out. For each one of them, you use 1 to 2 sentences each for a description of the content, the actions, and the results of a story. This is actually the same format that we recommend for your resume, but it's expanded upon into paragraph form here. In the variety, you also have to keep in mind that you want to make sure that you have varied word choice, no more than 2 instances of the same word inside the cover letter. And finally, just a few gut checks about your content. So once we've built the stories and this great why the firm paragraph, we're going to go back through and just make sure the following 3 things are true. You need to focus on you and not the firm. This is where you tell your story. You don't kiss up to how great they are. You should remove weak language. The words I feel or I believe are examples of weak language. Instead, you say things like I am confident or I am excited. And then finally, when appropriate, use specific technical keywords in your cover letter in case it's searched by AI. If you follow these rules to build a great cover letter and you emphasize your story with specifics instead of just generalities about your background, you're going to be well on your way to developing an awesome cover letter. But if you need help, we're here to help, and we would love to help you with your specific cover letter. In fact, you can send it in to us if you're not sure about buying our services, and we will tell you whether you need a full edit or not. We're excited to help you. Thanks so much for listening.